Today on All Things 80s, a look back at the highlights of 2021. Welcome back to All Things 80s, and as we're at the end of the year, I thought I would take a look back at 2021 and just quickly talk about some of my highlights. Now, these are in no particular order, just 10 highlights that I've picked out. So first up, the highlight number 10 was the fact that I began doing live streams. Something I never thought I would do, but thanks to Michael at Retroblasting, who had me on and encouraged me to do it, because live streams are obviously the essential component of Iconicon. I had to get some practice in, so did a few live streams, got used to it, and since then haven't really looked back. So number 9 was the fact that I finally completed Wave 1 of the G1 Transformers collection, something I've been wanting to do for decades. And thanks to reproduction, fakes, whatever you want to call them, reissues, and some genuine G1s, I finally completed my Wave 1 G1 collection, and I could not be happier. I just love when I look over and see them all lined up like that. It's something I wished I'd had as a kid, but many, many decades later, that dream finally came true. So in this past year, I have been a guest on a number of really awesome YouTube channels, and I am thankful that these great channels thought enough of me to invite me on. So first up, I was on Retroblasting with Michael. Then the Universal Shabby Reviews channel. I've been on that channel a number of times. It's always a blast talking with those guys. Tony at Analog Toys had me on, and earlier this year, I guess it was still summertime because I was wearing shorts, but Grindhead Jim had me on as we discussed the woes of living in very small spaces and trying to accommodate our collections. And I think that's all the channels I've been on. If I have missed one, I do apologise. My brain is somewhat frazzled at the moment. But yeah, appearing on these great channels really was a highlight for me this year. So back in October, I attended my first ever convention, and that was the New York Comic Con. And I had an absolute blast there. Of course, the highlight was meeting William Shatner and getting my Mego Star Trek figure signed by him. Also attended his live panel. Listening to him talk was just an absolute joy. Picked up some great items, and Mrs. 88 and I really did have a great time. I'm just concerned that because it was a convention that was impacted by COVID, the numbers were reduced, which meant it wasn't too busy and I was able to sort of enjoy myself without being, crowded. But hopefully I can attend next year, and we'll see how it goes with regards to crowd numbers. But I had an absolute blast and will definitely go back again. So number 6, another accomplishment this year, was completing waves 1 and 2 of the Kenner M.a.s.k vehicles. I've said this many times, but M.a.s.k was the last ever toy line I collected as a kid. And just to finally get those vehicles and their corresponding figures and masks into my collection was a great achievement, and something I'm really, really proud of. Now, whether I continue with Wave 3 and the split seconds remains to be seen. I do have a number of Wave 3s, but as a kid, I didn't even know these things existed, so they don't have the same attachment to me as the Waves 1 and 2 have. But with that said, you never know, I may continue collecting M.a.s.k. So at number 5, was me finally acquiring a pair of Holy Grail items, something that I've admired for many, many years and just could not justify pulling the trigger on. And earlier this year, I got to the point where it was like now or never, because of course it was the Batman Hot Toys, both Batman and Robin. And I just kept seeing the prices creeping and creeping and creeping up, and I thought, if you don't do it now, you will never be able to do it. And it was one of these purchases that upon clicking the buy it now and paying for them, I felt immediately sick. It's by far the most I've ever spent on anything in my collection, and buyer's remorse kicked in almost immediately. However, upon receiving them and unboxing them and seeing just how amazing they were, I had a feeling of relief really, because, like I said, it was a case of now or never, because the prices were just going up and up. And if I waited any longer, the prices would have been just so obscene. I could never have done it. So to have these in my collection makes me incredibly happy. And I guess the next step is to try and think of the next Holy Grail and, worry about that over the coming years. But in the meantime, I am very happy to finally have Batman and Robin in my collection. So at number 4, I was extremely thankful to be part of Iconicon. And like I said earlier, at the beginning of the year, I'd never done any live streams. I didn't think I would ever do any live streams. And back in July of this year, I hosted 2 and was a guest on 1, all on the same day. It was a very hectic day for me, but my God, did I have fun. And I hope everyone watching also had as much fun as I did. So first up in the morning, I hosted Tony from Analog Toys and Dave from Toy Polloi as we looked over some Argos catalogues, which has kind of become my thing lately. And it was a great stream, and by all accounts, the viewers absolutely loved it. And it was just so nice to talk with people of a similar age, and also all being from the UK originally. We were able to sort of relate to Argos as a store and all the various toys we looked at. Next up, I was a guest on Retro Blasting, which was hosted by Melinda, as we looked at metal music from the 80s, and that was an absolute blast as well. And finally, in closing that same day, I hosted a panel looking at British TV from the 80s. And we had some great chats about the British TV, and I was able to pull up some TV listings and look at what was broadcast on certain dates back in the 80s, and it was just a real fun time. And then, of course, the fact that my participation was over on that one day, I was able to sort of sit back, relax, and watch all the other great panels and presentations. And obviously, there will be a version 2 coming up this year, which I'm very much looking forward to. So at number 3, something which again was decades in the making, but that was me finally completing my vintage Star Wars figure collection. Now, the last figure I needed wasn't necessarily one that was particularly exciting for me. It was Romba the Ewok. However, that's just the way it panned out. Anyone who wants to start collecting a vintage Star Wars collection, I highly recommend not doing what I did, which was putting the last 17 off till the end. Those are incredibly expensive, and in the last year or two, the prices of those figures have just gone through the roof, and I had to pay way more than I wanted to for that one Romba figure. But once it's done, and I'm very proud to have a complete run of vintage Star Wars figures. And thankfully, because of Stan Solo, I am not done collecting vintage style Star Wars figures. So hopefully he will continue to produce these great figures, and I will continue to purchase them and add them to my collection. So at number 2, it's the gift boxes I've received. I'm not going to name individuals because I'm sure to forget someone and I don't want to cause any offense. But I have been the recipient of some truly amazing gift boxes this year. And the level of generosity and kindness that has been sent in my direction is truly humbling. And I know I say it every time, but I do mean it. I don't know what it is that I do that what makes people want to send me these great gifts, but I really do appreciate it. And like I said, it's so humbling. And the things that I have added to my collection is just outstanding. And it really does blow my mind. But it just goes to show there are still good, kind people out there. And it does give us all hope that not everything in the world is bad. But yes, thank you to each and every one of you who has been kind enough to send me in something. When I began making videos sharing my memories of the 80s, I never in a million years thought that by doing so would spark something in the various viewers who then thought, I want to send this guy something. That was never my intention, but my God, I do appreciate the kindness, and it really does put a smile on my face. So number one, my personal favorite of the last year were the Christmas live streams. Now, I've dreamt for decades of being part of a Christmas special, and to finally be able to do it with so many amazing guests was an absolute dream come true. And I really put everything into these live streams, from creating the little graphics for the introduction to each segment, composing the music for those little graphic introductions. That was probably one of the best things I did all year, because I haven't done much with music at all in the last couple of years. So to sit down back in November and just knock out these Christmas ditties was a wonderful experience for me. And it's got me, itching to do more music. So I really enjoyed that aspect. But I just enjoyed having these great guests on, sharing our memories, looking at the catalogues, looking at the TV listings, the music, and sharing our memories. It was just truly magical. And I'm kind of sad that it's all over now, because like I said, I put so much into that, the preparation, everything. And it was only 4 live streams, and it was just over so damn fast. So hopefully, if time keeps moving as fast as it has done, it'll be no time at all until we're planning and actually carrying out the live streams for Christmas 2022. My God, that sounds futuristic, doesn't it? 2022, we're almost there. I can't believe it, but yeah, I had an absolute blast. I had the best time ever doing those, and hopefully everyone watching enjoyed them as much as I did. It was an absolute honor to host them, and like I said, definitely be doing those again next year. So those are just 10 highlights from 2021. There were way more I could have gone into, but I wanted to keep it to 10. And like I said, in no particular order except number 1. That really was my absolute favorite. So maybe you had differing opinions than I, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed my little list there. So thank you all for watching. Special thanks goes out to the patrons. Please like, please subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.